Hello and welcome to Heartrepreneur TV. I am your host, Velma Gallant, and I'm excited to have you here today. I have an amazing guest with us today. Today's show is why a naturopath is an important part of your business team. And I think this is going to be some really juicy information for you. Our guest today is Dr. Polly Heal-Mealy. She is a degreed naturopathic doctor who is a member of the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. Dr. Polly studied bioenergetic medicine at the Academy of International Bioenergetic Sciences in London, Ontario, Canada. As former president of the International Iridology Practitioners Association, she is an IIPA certified iridologist with a master's degree in education. She is a degreed naturopathic doctor who is also a member of the American Association of Drugless Practice. Oh, I'm reading it twice. I already said that. Welcome to the call, Dr. Polly. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So, part of why this makes so much sense to me that a naturopathic practitioner should be a part of my business team is that one of the things that I know inside of my business is some of the things I deal with are stress, lack of time, and these kinds of things, and making sure that I'm taking the best care of myself as I can. It's something that ends up getting knocked down just a little bit down my list. So what I'd like to know, what do you think what is the first thing that you would have in your questions or your discussion with an entrepreneur or a business owner who's come to you saying, things aren't quite right?
Yeah. The first thing I would ask is how much time or where on your priority list is self-care? As an entrepreneur, especially if you're first starting out, whatever yells the loudest is what's going to get your attention. And so you can walk around all day with everybody screaming, this is on fire, this is on fire. You've got to come and help me here, because as an entrepreneur, you kind of wear very many hats, especially when you're first starting out. And so the thing that doesn't scream is your own personal needs, because you've invested a lot of money to start your business. You've invested a lot of time. You've got to, make the overhead payments or whatever it is, whatever the stress is. You got to pay your employees. And so you yourself are at the bottom of the totem pole because everything else is screaming louder. And so one of the things that you mentioned in the bio is that I studied engineering medicine, right? So what that means is, as a human being, we have frequencies. Every system in our body has frequencies, and those frequencies have to be synchronized in order for our bodies to work properly. Now, when you're an entrepreneur, you're learning about your systems, you're learning about your business, you're trying to get all these moving pieces hooked together and running with synchronicity. The same thing with your body. And so being an entrepreneur, there is a lot of stress. When we are stressed, our body does not have the ability to function properly. You may be, depending on what kind of person you are, you may be running on your emotions. And so we never make good decisions when we're only just running on our emotions. We've got to have that heart connection with the head connection so that we can make the good choices. And so one of the things that I would ask is, where are you in your nutrition? Where are you in your exercise? But primarily, where are you in your rest and in your self-care? Because if you're not taking care of yourself, then you're not going to be able to take care of anybody else, because you're going to be exhausted, and it won't be very long until you are running on fumes.
Well, and that makes a lot of sense to me, in that do we really want to leave it so long until it's our body that's screaming at us, and that's the fire we have to put out?
Correct. And that's a good point, because if you don't make time, I think somebody said, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will make time for your illness. And nobody who's in business for themselves has any time to take off for illness. You don't have time to go and wait, 4 hours in a doctor's office to have some kind of condition resolved. And so if you can be really proactive on your health, and this is what we do, we teach people, this is what you need to have in your kitchen cabinet. So if you wake up with a sore throat, this is what you do. If you wake up with a tummy bug, this is what you do. And so a lot of what we do is very proactive and educational, so people have at home what they need, and so they're able to manage their body when they wake up and things don't work. So I have not been sick in probably 20-25 years as far as being sick. Now I do wake up from time to time like I just don't feel well. So what I have in my kitchen cabinet, I have a broad spectrum natural antibiotic, antiviral. I've got I've got capsules, I've got liquids, I've got all kind of various things. And what I will do is I will set my timer on my phone, and it will alert me every 2 hours, and I will go and take a dose. And every time by the end of the day, I am as good as gold, no problem. We just kind of move on. What people do is they wake up and they go, oh, I don't really feel well. Maybe if I gargle with this, it'll go away. And they don't do anything really proactive. And then the next day it's a little bit worse. And the next day it's a little bit worse. Probably on the fourth day, they'll go and they'll see their doctor. Well, by that time, you've got a raging infection. You're going to need antibiotics. You're going to need to take a day off because you don't feel well. Whereas if you had what you needed at home and you were able to take care of it right then and there, you would forego all the, successive 3 days, and you wouldn't have to go to the doctor at all.
So what I'm hearing is part of when somebody works with you or a naturopathic doctor is you help them have that little wellness kit
Absolutely.
ready so that they can take care of these things quickly and immediately. So what about exercise? What are your thoughts on how that should be fitting into our self-care program?
Well, exercise is one of those things, you use it or lose it. So if you don't move your body, you're going to lose the ability to move your body. And so as we get older, we have more fatigue. We just naturally have more fatigue. We are busy. We don't want to take the time. I mean, when I go to the gym, I go to the gym at 6:30 in the morning. And the reason I go in the morning is because if I wait till the end of the day, I'm too tired and I'm not going to go. So I put it in my calendar. I go first thing in the morning, come home, shower, get ready for the day, go through my day, and I'm good to go. So not everybody, is that way. I know women need to exercise in the morning, but men seem to do better if they exercise in the evening just because of the way the body chemistry is. And so, you need to know your own, what will you do? I'm not going to go at the end of the day. I'm just too tired. So I have to go in the morning, but you make it a priority. So you need to have a good cardiovascular workout, at least 30 minutes, at least 3 times a week. I like to do a lot of weight training, not to build up muscle, but to build muscle strength and muscle tone, because as you get older, you lose that. That's just part of aging. And so you have to do a little bit more. We also make sure that you've got really good anti-aging nutrients, right? So that the body can absorb everything that it needs. As you get older, you lose the ability to absorb your nutrients. And so we want to make sure that the nutrition that you get is micronized. So if you're taking a vitamin, a multivitamin, which everybody needs to, the older you get, you need to do micronized vitamins that are very, very easy to be absorbed. So there's no waste. If you go to your medical doctor, a lot of times they'll say, don't worry about nutrients, don't worry about vitamins, because all you're going to do is have expensive urine. Well, if you buy from the big box stores and you're getting products that are really densely compacted, then you're not going to absorb those. And so in that case, the doctor is right. But you're not going to be able to find food today, the way it's grown today, the way it's manufactured today, it's not nutrient dense. So everybody, to live their best life, has to have a really good comprehensive vitamin, mineral, antioxidant, all of that kind of thing every day in order so that their body works the way it's supposed to.
Okay. So what I've heard so far is a naturopathic doctor is valuable on your team because they're going to be, it's basically like a wellness coach. It's kind of, we have business coaches, we have life coaches. You're kind of like a wellness coach because you're helping us set up our wellness kit at home. You're reminding us of something that we probably should be paying attention to, is that we really don't have time to be sick. And who wants to be sick? Like, I know I could take a total pass on that. And then and making sure that we're taking the time to exercise. So, the cardio 3 times a week, 30 minutes, weights for strength. I heard weights is really good for supporting you with your bone density too. Is that true?
Absolutely. Weight-bearing exercises absolutely do help with that. And every woman, certainly postmenopausal woman, needs to be doing something to prevent osteoporosis. Your estrogen load lightens quite a bit postmenopausal, and it leads to more bone loss, or it can. And so what you want to do is you want to get a really good product that not only has your calcium, but you want those other micronutrients in there that are cofactors. And this is what a lot of people don't know. You can go to your big box store, your grocery store, your pharmacy, whatever. They've got all kinds of vitamins and minerals out there. So let's say one of the most popular products is a calcium that's made from sea coral, right? Have you ever eaten sea coral?
No.
No, it's not a food. So it's not bioavailable. A lot of your calcium products are nothing more than talc. Have you ever eaten talc? No.
Maybe as a child.
Yeah, right. But you've outgrown that, right? So if you don't have the boron, the manganese, the K2, the D3, if you don't have all of those cofactors, then your body's not going to absorb that calcium. And what that product is going to do, it's going to get caught in your joints, and it's going to set you up for arthritis. So you don't want to do that. So this is another reason why a naturopath in your corner is good for you, because she or he is going to guide you on the right kind of products. Good products that work are going to be expensive. You're not going to go to the pharmacy and buy one, get one free. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to go to the big box store and get a single ingredient in most cases that's going to do what it needs to do for you. Why is that? Because your nutrition comes in food form, right? So when you have a carrot, you've got your beta carotene, of course, but you've got all other things in there that makes that beta carotene bioavailable. It's the same thing with your supplements. Your supplements have to have the cofactors, otherwise you're not going to be able to absorb them. So another thing that we do when we do our bioenergetic medicine, when we do our analysis, is we can look for hidden stealth viruses, stealth conditions. So let's talk about autoimmune disease, okay? Because autoimmune disease is on the rise.
Yes.
What is autoimmune disease? Now, we don't want to label it like chronic fatigue or lupus or multiple sclerosis or anything like that. We don't want to put that kind of label on there. An autoimmune disease is your body being confused. Your body is toxic. One more thing happens, the body spazzes and says, I'm on overload. I don't know what this is, so I'm going to fight everything, including the host. So that's what an autoimmune disease is. So a lot of times when we do the evaluation, we'll be able to see what the hidden triggers are, what the cloaked disturbances are that you might not even know about, but your body knows. Your body is using that energy that it has to fight and to suppress, like we'll say, heavy metals, or a parasitic load, or a viral load. It doesn't matter what it is. The body is using its vitality to suppress that. That's what a cyst is. That's what a rash is the body trying to suppress something. And so if you can name it, if you can find its energetic frequency, then you can combat it, you can release it, the body can expel it. So your immune system is able to fight the incoming pathogen, whatever that might be, and it's not too busy keeping everything under wraps so that you don't go into a crisis situation. So having a naturopath is going to give you a lot of peace of mind that all of your systems are working properly, that you've got all the nutrition, the good nutrition that you have, the best nutrition that you can get, that you're using your time wisely, that you're resting appropriately, and you're taking time. So an entrepreneur, most of the time, will be in sympathetic dominance. So is that a term that you're familiar with?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so we've got a central nervous system, and it is kind of broken into two different sides, as it were. One is the sympathetic dominant, and one is parasympathetic dominant. Now, sympathetic dominant is what most entrepreneurs stay in. It's fight or flight. Okay, I'm going to
Okay.
conquer that mountain. I'm going to sell my program. I'm going to win this client. I'm going to put out the fires, whatever it is. It's on and on and on and on. And what that does is it leads to adrenal fatigue, a lot of cortisol, a lot of adrenaline, and it absolutely wears you out. So entrepreneurs, they can't be tired, so they drink the coffee, they do their power drinks, they do all this kind of stuff, which further weakens that adrenal system, right? But this is life. This is what we do. So we teach people how to get into parasympathetic dominance. Parasympathetic dominance is where the body goes, oh, I can be at the beach, I can relax, I can absorb my nutrition, I can repair all my tissues, and I can get up and fight another day. And so one of the things that I have found is, and we can, I don't know if you're going to allow us to do this, but we can give you a QR code or something so that you can download this program for free. And if you'll listen to this program a couple of times a day, I guarantee you will feel a seismic shift as you move from sympathetic dominance into parasympathetic dominance. And the first time I did this was maybe about 4 or 5 months ago. And oh my goodness, I was sitting in my chair and I felt it. And it was just like a seismic shift into low gear. And it was like, oh man, this is good. I need to do this every day. And so it's a program. You can download it on your phone. And whenever you need that time out, you can put yourself in time out and you can listen to this. I think it's like a 20-minute program. It's all musical. It's it's nice. It's very pleasant. You put your earbuds in, you listen to it, you will feel that seismic shift into parasympathetic dominance. And that's really where we want to live, because that's where the body repairs itself.
So that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, I know I have heard that when our body goes into fight or flight, it actually pushes all the blood out to our extremities, because we got to run away from the tiger.
Exactly.
And so when all of our blood and everything is out in our extremities, there's nothing there taking care of our digestion or any of those internal organs. So in a lot of ways, when we're in fight or flight mode or stress mode, we're actually robbing our body of its vitality.
Absolutely. And that's why so many entrepreneurs go into burnout, right? They're so busy fighting the tiger that they use up all of their resources. And so on our bioenergetic testing, one of the points that we test is the central nervous system. And quite a few of our entrepreneurs on the grid, you're supposed to be at 50. 50 is perfect. Quite a few of our entrepreneurs, they're like at 10 or 15. They're very, very suppressed because they're just worn out. And they don't feel like they have the luxury of taking a vacation. They don't feel like they have the luxury of not going into work at the prescribed time. They don't feel like they have the opportunity or the luxury to take time away from their business to focus on themselves and what they really need, because so many other voices are calling to them. And so a lot of time it's just training. We do a lot of work with pastors, right? Pastors never take a day off. Why is that? Because they serve a higher power, okay? Their people are needy. When you need your pastor, you need your pastor. Your pastor, your rabbi, your priest, whoever it is, right? Your spiritual person. So I will tell them, I will do a prescription. I'm not supposed to do prescriptions because I'm not medical, right? I'm holistic. But I will write on their protocol 1 day a week, not Sunday or Saturday if you're a rabbi. 1 day a week, you turn your phone off. All of your calls go to your associate, and you don't do anything ministerial for one whole 24-hour period. And it's really been amazing for me to see pastors, if they will listen And if they will do that, the change that it makes in their vitality, because they have that one day, they go fishing, they go hunting, they lay on the couch and read a book or whatever they do, but they're not giving. They're
Right.
replenishing. And we always, you can't dip from a dry well,
Mm-hmm.
right? We give out. I mean, I'm in the healthcare business. I give out all the time, but I have to replenish. Otherwise, I've got nothing to give my people, and I'm not going to be a good practitioner if I don't take care of myself.
Exactly. Exactly. And so that's, you're basically giving yourself the advice that you give to your clients. So
Absolutely.
so what if I'm in that, that stress mode, right? So I'm in that stress mode. I've already heard with you that there's that one um, program that you can share with us that can support us with bringing down our energy. So, and I'm kind of getting the visual of pulling all the blood in from my limbs.
Right. Right.
Right.
Your actual pulse rate will change. Your breathing will change. And those are some things that you can do. You can just be mindful that you can take 5 minutes, sit at your desk, close your door, and just breathe from your belly. If you will just breathe from your belly, then, and most of us are shallow breathers. You breathe here because you're always on the run. But if you'll breathe from your belly, and when you inhale, your belly goes out. When you exhale, you bring your belly in. And a lot of times that's not how people breathe. They're shallow breathers, so they never get all of that exchange of oxygen in their lungs. But if you will concentrate and do deep breathing exercises for 5 minutes, you can put yourself in parasympathetic mode.
Okay. So that's another tool is
That's
pick up on a
another tool.
breathing
It's to be
exercise.
mindful. It's to be
Mhm.
mindful.
And that makes a lot of sense as well, because I mean, it's like you said, if you're for shallow breathing, I mean, just notice the difference between your breathing when you're at rest, you're sleeping, or you're almost asleep, and then when you're rushing to the store or something like that. Like you're gonna notice the difference between your breathing
Absolutely.
just like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
And
okay.
that costs nothing. All you have to do is just get up, have discipline enough, get up, close the door, breathe. And you can do that several times a day.
Well, I mean, you were mentioning that you would set an alarm with respect to, the supplements that you take when you're noticing something's not quite right. You could do the same thing with, every hour on the hour. Pause for
Absolutely.
2 minutes of breathing, right? Like it doesn't even have to be very long. It could be just give myself 2 minutes. I know there's a lot of information out there about work for so long, take a 5 minute break, work for so long, take a
Right.
5 minute break, do the breathing on that 5 minute break.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It has to be something that is mindful and it becomes a habit. Because if it's not a habit, you're just not going to do it because you're going to be going toward the next screaming voice, the next
Right.
fire to put out. And so you've got to have that discipline. And most entrepreneurs do have the discipline. Otherwise, they wouldn't be entrepreneurs, right?
Well, and it makes me think, because one of the things I've noticed about habits is I have an easier time creating a new habit if I tie it to an old habit.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So the question would be, what regular habit do you have that you can tie the breathing to, or that you could tie that little program to? How can you support yourself in that way? That's one of the things I'm hearing with what you're sharing.
That's right. So one of the things that I do twice a week is I take time for myself and I will sit in an infrared sauna and
Mm,
I will do this brain thing, right, for 30 minutes. Now, it's an hour commitment that I make. I do it twice a week, so it's an hour, right? I could do it more. I do other things on the other day, so I don't need to do it more. You can do it more if you have the time to do that. But I find that it takes all the inflammation out of your tissues. It takes all the aggravation out of your emotions,
mm-hmm.
right? And so, when the buck stops here with the entrepreneur, right, we have got to make sure that our vessel is clear so that we can make the right decisions. So if we've got cooped up emotions, if we've got cooped up inflammation in the body, if we don't take time to eat properly, if we don't take time to rest properly, if we don't take time to nourish the soul, then we're going to not be a complete entity in order to do what we need to do at the best level that we can do that.
Well, and the reality is if you're really taking your business to the next level, you have to be your optimum, because if you're not, it's kind of like it's like having an engine that hasn't had its oil change. How far is that car really going to go? And you're the engine of your
Exactly. And that's
business.
what I tell entrepreneurs when they're talking about their food. They tell me what they're eating. And so I'll ask them, I say, what kind of car do you have? And they'll tell me whatever they have. And I'll say, well, would you put milk in the gas tank? Horror. Absolutely not. My car would not run. I need my car. Well, you need your body too. So if you're not putting the right fuel in your body, then it's analogous to putting the wrong fuel in your car. You know what's going to happen. That car is going to break down. Same thing with the human body. If you don't put the right fuel in the body, then you're going to break down. Now, the fuel is not necessarily only nutrition. It is nutrition, but it is also rest and recovery. It is also mental peace. It is also avoiding drama. It is also making time for the joyful things in life and not just being a workaholic. So there's all kinds of different things that fit into that. And a good naturopath will deal with lifestyle changes as well as nutritional and supplemental changes.
So again, that made a lot of sense to me, because you're talking about the fuel, right? And when we're talking about breathing, does a car run very well when its air filter is clogged?
No, it does not.
It absolutely does not. So we need that breath, right? And then the oil and all of the bands and all of that kind of stuff, that all is parts of the body and stuff like that, which I see
Absolutely.
connecting again to the exercise and everything
Absolutely.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't want to have to go in and have our biggest filter, which is our liver, right? We don't want to have that liver replaced, but we can easily clean it. And anybody that's over 50 years old needs to clean their liver every year. That's your largest filter. And so that's something that a naturopath, I tell my people once a year, we need to do this. And I'll look at their chart when they come in. It's like, okay, it's been a year since you did this. This is what you need to do. Yes, ma'am, that's what I'm going to do. So we do that. And so it's just, if you're healthy and you do all the great lifestyle things, all you need is just a little bit of guidance. If you've not taken care of yourself and you are whatever age you are, then there's a little bit more intensive care that we need to do. But given the right blood supply, the right nutrients, the right air supply, the right mental attitude, everything can repair. And so we've seen just tons of things. I don't know if you saw my Tuesday testimonial this week, but we had a man that came in. I saw him 5 years ago, and he had some prostate issues. I saw him one time. I didn't see him anymore. Okay, fine, whatever. Well, he called me about a month ago, and he came in and he said, Dr. Polly, my PSA is 33. And it's like, I'm looking at your chart and I'm saying, well, if you'd done what I told you to 5 years ago, we might not be in this situation, right? But okay, here we are. This is where we are. So I put him on a protocol, and he came in last week and he said, I happened to be coming out of my room, new appointment, and he's standing there and he says, can I give you a hug? And I'm going, well, no, so much for social distancing, right? So I said, okay, of course. So he gave me this big, big hug. He said, I just went to my doctor. He said, my PSA is half of what it was. So it went down from a 33 to a 15 in 1 month time. And so this is why we do what we do and the way we do what we do, because we have those kind of results. Now, if he did not know about holistic healthcare, and really it's his wife kind of pushes him that way, right? Because he didn't come back 5 years ago. But his wife said, go see Dr. Polly. I know that she can help you. He now, because I told him I wanted to stay on this protocol for 60 days. He's at 30 days, his PSA is half of what it was. Actually, more than half of what it was. In the next 30 days, it should come down below 4, where it is supposed to be. right?
Wow.
We have every indication that that's going to happen. We've got the pandemic and all that kind of stuff going on now, and we deal with people who are older. We deal with people in their 70s and above
Mm-hmm.
that have been hospitalized in one thing and another. We had a guy in September, end of September, and he called. Well, actually, his wife called. Just got out of the hospital. COVID. What can we do? I said, do this, 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 and this. The doctor told him when they released him from the hospital, you can't go back to work for 6 months, and you'll be on oxygen for 6 months. Okay, that was the end of September.
Mm-hmm.
1st of November, he's off all of his oxygen and he's back at work.
Oh, wow.
That's why you need a naturopath in your corner.
That's right. I just want to do a quick summary because we've reached the end of our time, and I want to respect your time because I know you've got lots of people to support. Is a naturopathic doctor belongs on your team right from the beginning to support you to get back into harmony, and then stay on your team so you can maintain that harmony. And it's kind of like bringing your car in for an oil change with its every 5,000 miles kind of thing. Like, that's what you do, is you take care of this vessel, this vehicle, the way you do your car. And especially for those ones who are car lovers out there, this should really bring that home.
Well, and another thing too, not only the entrepreneur, but your team.
Mm-hmm.
I have team members. I am their doctor. Why is that? Because I see them every day. I see when they're not well. It's pull it from the shelf, get it in the body, and I keep my team healthy because I can't do what I need to do if they can't do what they need to do because they're sick. And so you can not only benefit from a naturopath yourself as the business owner, but your whole team can as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this was fantastic. I know that one of the reports that you have available is something that would help each of us find our right naturopath, whether it's going to be you or somebody who's more local. You created this to give people the information they need to find the right team member.
Yes, it's our consumer awareness guide. And so we will, do you want me to drop a link in the comments?
Definitely drop the link to that. Drop the link to any of the other tools that you mentioned that you think would serve our entrepreneurs. This was fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate you coming here. I mean, I know we've had brief conversations before, but this was really thorough and comprehensive, and it really points to why it is really of value to have somebody like a naturopathic doctor on your team. And in reality, whether you're the business owner or you're a valuable team member inside of someone else's business while you're creating yours, it doesn't matter where you are in that journey. Having somebody on your team like that is a value.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, and thank you to our entrepreneurs who popped in and said hello. And be sure to hit replay, hashtag replay, when you take a listen to this, and share with us what you got out of it and what you really connected to. We'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you, and you have an absolutely fantastic day. Thanks again, Dr. Polly.
Thank you. You have a great day.